Yeah, simple. You heard it from the experts. You be the change. You make the difference. You let people go first and don't scream and show fingers and all that sort of stuff. That's all of our duty in the end. Now, it's been a great sporting weekend. If you're South African, Kevin Anderson took it all the way to the US Open final, stopping just short of lifting the coveted men's single trophy in New York. Of course, he lost against Rafael Nadal in straight sets. A great one for Nadal to win number 16.
Yes, absolutely.
He's one of the greats of the game, but Kevin Anderson will always be a point of conjecture and talk in South Africa, would he?
Yeah, no, he will. He's had a fairly patchy history and record with South African tennis fans. Having said that, looking at what was going on social media as well as on different television outlets, you know what, Kevin Anderson had quite a lot of support in this particular match. And I think it speaks to a lot to how it's been a really long time since we had a tennis star coming from the shores. Wayne Ferreira being the last one. 2002, I think it was, that he made it to the Australian Open semis. And so I think there was South Africans had been waiting for a long time to pin their hopes.
Don't forget
on someone.
Amanda Coetzee.
Oh yes, Amanda Coetzee.
Amanda Coetzee, the Bixie from Hoopstad. I used to follow her intensely back in the day. She used to do great work. But a man who polarizes opinion because he doesn't play Davis Cup. He's hardly ever in South Africa. He's taken American citizenship. Does he really represent South Africa, and does he have the interests of South African tennis at heart? Is the question we have to answer.
Well, you know what? It's very difficult to pinpoint what the issue really is. But the one thing is, he has not played Davis Cup for South Africa. Definitely. He's got permanent residency in the United States, and he hardly applies any of his trade here. He won his first ATP title right here in 2011, but then since 2008, I don't think he's represented South Africa. Yes, it's contentious. But with that said, I think a lot of people have chosen the philosophical road on this. One of them being Richard Glover, the CEO of Tennis South Africa. If you'll indulge me, just a few seconds, please, of what Richard had to say when he was here last week.
Cinderella sports like tennis tend to only get noticed during the Grand Slams, during Wimbledon especially, but some of the three other Grand Slams. And so to have a South African doing really well at the Grand Slams, it just raises the profile. Because there's a lot of good things happening off the court in Tennis South Africa at the moment, but it always helps if there's success on the court, and that's what Kevin is really helping us do.
So that's where it is. I mean, this is what Richard is saying on the matter, and they are in talks with Kevin to see if now he can find a way to get involved with our Davis. We've got a massive tie this weekend against Denmark. I don't think he'll make it for that. It's a promotion tie to get back into Group 1. So, you know what, it will remain contentious, and I think it will be split fairly down the middle. Some people backing Kevin, and some people saying, you know what, he needs to play for the country before we can give him our support.
Well, I believe in loyalty. That's me. Loyalty above all else, so I will reserve my opinion on Kevin Anderson. I just know for the last 10 years he hasn't been a great supporter of South Africa. But that's my opinion. It doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things, Kendall. What matters is that the Springboks showed a little bit of mettle this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Came back from behind to secure a draw, and what made me more happy, they weren't happy with a draw.
Yes, I think that goes all the way to show the spirit that's in that camp. In fact, I'll be chatting to Jody Hendricks about that, as well as a bit about Pro 14, but I agree with you. The Springboks are a side we can now fully back because they were unhappy with the draw in Perth.
Here we go. Next up, the All Blacks. Yes, they'll be in Albany this weekend. I've got already rounding up the troops to watch that one. It's going to be a cracker. Always great when we play the All Blacks, especially when we play them away from home. But let's take a look now at the weather. Myself and Kendall will be back at the top of the hour with more sport news.